Hi guys, I'm Adam Wilborn from WhatCulture.
And I'm Andy Murray from WhatCulture, and today I'm going to tell you about the $1 billion in revenue that WWE still stand to make in 2020. I'm going to tell you a snippet on EC3. I've got some news on whether or not the released wrestlers have non-compete clauses, and on top of that, I'm going to tell you when the furloughed backstage workers could return to the company.
Plus, I'm going to tell you what Vince McMahon told his WWE employees on Wednesday. The future of Carl Anderson may well be settled, and Killer Kross has got a new name in WWE. This is the news.
So we're going to kick things off by talking WWE financials a little bit again. We did a more in-depth breakdown of this yesterday, so we're not going to get down to the nitty-gritty like we did there, but it's just another little point that's come up that shows that, you know, WWE letting all these people go, releasing and furloughing all these people was a choice. It wasn't necessary. Like, that's undeniable now, right? Dave Meltzer brought this to light, but we've heard it from Brandon Thurston and other business experts within pro wrestling as well, pointing out that current projections have WWE standing to make $1 billion in revenue in 2020. Now, this is despite the ongoing global situation. This is taking into account if they don't run another attended show all year. This is taking into account not running another Saudi show all year. This is also taking into account not making a single dollar more on merchandise. So despite all these things, despite not holding another goddamn Saudi show, all of this, they're going to make $1 billion and they're going to make a record-breaking profit on current projections, a record-breaking income, I should say, of approximately $120 million. I would love to hear any counter-arguments to the idea that they had to let these people go. Because guess what? There aren't any. It was just a callous, craven move, as we discussed yesterday. A little snippet here as well on EC3. Bit of a left turn from the story I've just gone through, I admit. He's posted the video to his Twitter account. Pretty reflective stuff. He's breaking down his own character. It's accompanied by the description here. EC3 character synopsis created by a perfect storm of frustration, angst, restraint, solitude, and the sense of losing everything. The character of EC3 forced himself to consider the inconceivable, that he was defeated. In the video, he pulls his hood down, he shaved his head, he says that you have been warmed. He's now seemingly going by essential character free as well. So, first proper reactions to the releases, more financial stuff. The fallout from the past few days very much continues.
I'm very intrigued to see what EC3 does with this new character, because I don't want to sing the praises of these WWE releases whatsoever, but pressure can create some great things. It makes diamonds, after all. And some people I feel have reacted as well as can possibly be imagined to this, and intriguing to see where they go from here. In terms of WWE making $1 billion, I'm not shocked. I listened to quite a lot of Brian Alvarez ranting about WWE and their family last night on YouTube, and I'm still angry, still pissed off, as no doubt many people are, including the WWE employees, because like you said, Andy, this was completely needless. I heard it was either Brian or Dave Meltzer talking about the fact that if people are saying, well, they had to release these people, as you mentioned, because think of all the money they were losing. Well, in fact, running house shows, running TV shows, aside from the revenue they got from TV, actually lost them money. So they're saving money by not doing, house shows, by just doing shows within the Performance Center and still getting that sweet TV revenue. So, once again, just a reminder that there is no excuse or justification for these WWE releases. But speaking of them, we have our good friend Sean Ross Sapp over at Fightful Select to thank for the transcript of what Vince McMahon said to his employees before the mass releases on Wednesday, of course. He talked about WWE decreasing its expenses through unprecedented challenging times, confirming cuts to broad member compensation, talent expenses, third-party staffing and consulting, and of course the 6-month postponement of plans to move to new headquarters. The full snippet, or a key snippet of this, is all up at whatculture.com. It's well worth checking out. I'll just give you a brief synopsis. He said, despite all these measures, given the uncertainty we are facing today, unfortunately we have to temporarily reduce headcount as such a number of WWE employees will be furloughed from the company today. He goes on to say, I'm confident as a company, and most importantly confident as you as individual employees, will pull through these tough times and come back to work and make life better than it's ever been. Thank you. What a load of bollocks.
Yeah, it sums the whole thing up, doesn't it? Really sums the whole thing up. It's like they valued, a colossal profit margin over the humanity of their employees. Man, we really cut into this yesterday. If you want to see us just destroying this argument that this was somehow necessary, check the video out. We've got evidence, we've got numbers, we've got everything you could possibly want.
The TLDR of this, by the way, is just, I like money, empty platitudes.
Yeah, exactly. WWE family, see you later. Anyway, let's talk about these released wrestlers. You might look at them and think, when can these people work again? Do they have no competes? The answer to that question, do they have no competes, is yes. They have 90-day non-compete clauses as part of their agreements to leave. This comes to us via PW Insider with a new report. This means that their their non-competes will expire on the 15th of July. That means that they can't appear on TV, they can't sign for any major promotion. Now, obviously, the labor market is going to be just bazookaed at the moment, right? AEW, New Japan, Impact, these companies have had a much larger chunk of their revenue harmed than WWE have of theirs, so they're not necessarily going to be signing people anyway. So the non-compete clauses might be irrelevant for a lot of people who might not be able to work for a long time regardless of them. That being said, there are opportunities to work like conventions and autograph signings. Not that they'll be going ahead, but they technically can do them if they are. They're not. Non-competes are kind of standard. We expect them for everyone that's released. If your contract expires, that's a little bit different. Matt Hardy, pretty much as soon as he was out of WWE, he went over to AEW because if you let it run out, you don't have a non-compete. Recent exception would be the Revival, who negotiated to have their non-competes removed when they were let go from the company last week. But you're not going to see Rusev, even if he's a guy that AEW or someone might even sign through all this crap because he's such a valuable dude. But you're not going to see guys like that on Dynamite or, if New Japan kick up in a couple of weeks or whatever, you're not going to see them on these shows.
Andy, am I right in thinking that these no-compete clauses will also technically mean that they are still getting paid by the company, or at least have got a big payoff?
Yeah, that's the case. They get 90 days of pay under normal circumstances. However, we did hear that some people got big payoffs for this, so maybe they'll have forgone the wages that they would have earned for that 90-day period. But for the most part, yeah, it's like a little retainer. We're going to pay you for 90 days to just not do anything and be an asset for an employee. I understand that people can violate these and forgo them, though, however. But at the same time, it's like under normal circumstances in a nice labor market, if WWE say, hey, we'll give you $100,000 to just not do anything, you might take that opportunity, right?
Yeah, exactly. I got distracted a little bit there because I started thinking about 90 Day Fiancé, which if you haven't seen is one of the weirdest shows out there. But I really can't square this in my head because I get it. We've all sat there and gone, they're holding talent, they're stopping AEW from signing them. So they've literally waited until AEW physically cannot sign them. Obviously, they can't sign them with 90-day no-compete clauses for now anyway. But it's like, the market is going to be completely flooded, so it's not like all your favourite stars will be able to go to AEW all at once without getting accusations of being the new TNA or whatever.
Yeah.
It's just really, really sad and disappointing, but we'll tell you more about how you can support them in a short while. And as you mentioned there, Andy, just because people won't be signing or working for these companies doesn't mean they can't tease on social media, just like Carl Anderson has done. He's teased a potential return to New Japan Pro Wrestling on social media. A little brief clip up on his Twitter right now. Various shots of Tokyo in there. There's some commentary clips. And, of course, his old nickname, Machine Gun, appears on screen as well. Not exactly subtle, but the news I think most people probably wanted to hear from at least Carl Anderson. Hopefully Luke Gallows does the same.
Yeah, I think, man, maybe people who just watch American wrestling or even just WWE might not know how big a deal Carl Anderson was for a while in New Japan. Not just because him and Gallows were tag team champions 3 times and held the belts for like a year in one of their reigns and were always pushed, but Carl Anderson was the leader of the goddamn Bullet Club. Like, when the Bullet Club was becoming the cool thing in wrestling. Him and AJ was kind of there as well, like on a similar level, but Carl Anderson led the group. And
didn't he introduce Omega? Like, he literally was on the mic saying, "The Kalina Kenny Omega," when he got introduced into Bullet Club.
I think so. I would need to go and rewatch the angle, man.
Well,
but
this is the thing, that if you're a fan, if you're late to Bullet Club like I was, there's a wonderful series on New Japan's YouTube channel chronicling the history of it. Well worth going to check out, especially if you want to know more about people like Machine Gun Carl Anderson, Finn Balor, of course, and all the stuff with Young Bucks, what have you. But even like AJ Styles, go and watch it. It's lovely. It's perfect. It's like 6-minute episodes that chronicle everything that you need to know.
Well worth catching up on for sure. I think Carl Anderson, like, going back to New Japan makes so much sense for that dude. Gallows as well. They've started up a Patreon account, I think, for their old Talking Shop podcast, which was always a riot of a listen. So I'm looking forward to checking that out. They seem like good dudes. I wish them all the best, and I think they'll land on their feet. They're two, like, even just as personalities, they're just awesome dudes, man. They'll be fine. Yes, exactly. On a personal note, Carl, please reply to my DM. I really want to interview you. Let's move on. Killer Kross has a new name in WWE. Of course, he's been teased on NXT. He quite obviously was the guy who attacked Tommaso Ciampa on... what day is it? It's Friday. On Wednesday night's episode. There's a piece of merchandise up at WWE.com. He's not going to be called Killer Kross in WWE, probably considering the current circumstances and WWE's general sense of awkwardness around that sort of thing. He's going to be called Carry On Kross, which is a bit crap, if I'm honest. I mean, I wouldn't say that to his face because he's terrifying, but it does feature that... XII symbol, 12, the 12 symbol that has been featured on all the vignettes. So yes, Carry On Kross is his new name. I have nothing to say about that name other than it's not very good. Let's talk about the furloughed wrestlers. The furloughed producers, the backstage staff. Let's get serious again for a second. Get your game together, Andy Murray, on the news. New report from Wrestling Inc. talking about an information package that was handed out to furloughed producers within WWE, the ones who've been sidelined, the likes of Lance Storm, Finlay, Pat Buck, Billy Kidman. This information pack stated that the end of the furlough is currently planned to be 1st of July. After that, they might be able to return to work. However, the situation could change because there's a lot of uncertainty at the moment. They were given the reason that the current level of work available as a result of the ongoing global situation necessitated this, air quotes, and the health insurance contributions will still be covered by the company. That's good, but they'll also be eligible to apply for unemployment benefit during what will be obviously a difficult time when they won't be paid. I hope these people come back to work and are able to by 1st of July, but that's by no means guaranteed. No, exactly. This may well be used as an opportunity by WWE to release some of them. I just love the idea of WWE going, hey, too many cooks spoil the broth. Meanwhile, 30 writers writing one promo. There you go, baby. Madness. Right, should we move on to our Twitter questions? Let's do it, baby. At WhatCulture WWE, of course, if you want to get in touch with us, of course, loads of questions we're being asked about these WWE releases. Should mention, by the way, 4 p.m. today, we're going to be doing another live podcast, myself and the Dadley Boys, previewing SmackDown later. If you want any questions answered on there, please do join us because we're going to be going into great amounts of detail around that then. Rob Marolf gives us our first question today, saying, as obvious as the downside of the recent WWE releases has been, what are your thoughts on how it impacts the remaining roster? I believe the roster has been far too large recently, and a slimmed down version could potentially prove more palatable to the audience. There is the potential for that. I think, though, if you look at a lot of the people who have been let go, unfortunately, a lot of them just weren't being used with any regularity. So I don't think it'll actually have any impact, really. Like, I mean, we saw No Way Jose, once every 3 months. Rusev hadn't been on TV since January or February. Anderson and Gallows, they were around with AJ, but they were very much just kind of like his sidekicks, really, for a while. I don't think it will make a huge difference at the moment, but WWE have always had, over the past few years, they've constantly had too many wrestlers on the roster. I'm very reticent to obviously call it a positive at the moment because people are losing their jobs and it's horrible. But there has been a case over the past few years that they have too many people and that they are holding on to, and what's the word I'm looking? They're hoarding. We said it earlier.
Yes.
But at the moment, it's tricky to sit here and go, oh yeah, this will be good for Jimmy, who doesn't get on TV very often.
Exactly. El Guapo gives us our second question of the day, saying, with all these wrestlers being released, do companies like... do you think companies like an MMW or Impact signing some of these guys will take them to the next level, or will even a new wrestling company come from the ashes of the wrestling apocalypse?
A new wrestling company is, I think, very tricky to put any certainty on at the moment, because I don't think WWE is going away. And, the market beneath WWE is actually kind of crowded now, because you've got AEW, you've got MLW, like you said, you've got Impact, you've got Ring of Honor as well, who we often forget about.
NWA?
NWA, yeah, man, there you go. And there's been talk of MLW like getting a major TV deal and stuff coming through, and it's cool to see. There's definitely some people that these companies can benefit from, absolutely. I think a guy like Heath Slater is one, just because he's just such a wonderful performer. Getting to the next level, I think, would be very difficult for Impact. I think that company's reputation is what it is, and they're now at kind of a ceiling that no matter how good the product gets and how they sign, and the product has been very good at various points over the past few years, they'll struggle to break through that. MLW, I think, has a bit more forward momentum. Cool, unique roster, a lot of people on there that if more people saw, like Jacob Fatu or Tom Lawler or the Von Erichs, they're going to look at these guys and go, oh, God damn, these guys are awesome. They're my new favorite wrestler or whatever. So I think they've got the potential to do something, and we could see them swoop for some of these names, provided that the cash is there.
Yeah, and it's also about walking that tightrope, because the comparisons of like TNA, just snatching up all the cast-offs of WWE back in the day will be made, but I think it's slightly different, and a lot of these guys, as we mentioned, deserve to be in these other companies and would genuinely bring eyes to a company. I, for one, will be watching the first match refereed by Mike Yoda in whatever promotion he ends up working for. Love that guy.
Yeah.
Jason Hampson gives us our final question of the day, saying, with WWE on their cost-cutting spree, what do you think of the chances of them... What do you think the chances are of them completely mothballing NXT UK?
Yeah, NXT UK is... Man, it's a shame, because for the wrestlers there, they've ran out of footage now. They're airing clip shows. They can't tape in the UK. The UK is totally locked down. You can't do what you're doing in Florida with these live shows and stuff. It's just not feasible. The thing about the UK is that we have a government furloughing scheme where the government will pay 80% of your wages if you're successfully enrolled onto this thing. I think that's likely. I think WWE will attempt to utilize that. And I think it would be kind of daft not to at this stage, right? Protect their jobs, make sure they're still getting some kind of income coming through. I believe it's 80% up to a maximum of £2,500 a month. I feel like that would probably, I think they're going to do that, yes.
Yeah, exactly. And as you mentioned at the top of this news, cost-cutting measures aren't necessary, so I think NXT UK hopefully will be fine. Let's move on to today's, and finally, we're not going to completely take the piss out of what's going on right now, but it's worth remembering that these wrestlers need your support right now more than ever. And a particular favourite of WhatCulture's is, of course, Drake Maverick, aka Rockstar Spud, who has a new t-shirt up at Pro Wrestling Tees. Here it is, Spud 24/7, with that unforgettable, let's just say, image of him, I don't know, consummating his championship reign, whatever you want to call it. Please do go and check that out. Go and support him. And go and support all the wrestlers and staff that have been released, because they really do need your support. As I mentioned yesterday, if any of them see this, or you know any of them, or you just want to tag them on Twitter and get them to talk to us, we would love to chat to them, to promote anything that they've got to help them, to support them through this difficult time. And
Mm-hmm.
I'd love to sit down and interview a whole host of them. Let me know on Twitter at WhatCulture WWE by tagging them which wrestlers you'd like to see us chat about their careers and to get your questions answered, basically. Right, let us know your thoughts on all today's news stories in the comment section below. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. And subscribe to What Culture Wrestling on either iTunes, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts from for daily wrestling podcasts. Wrestle Culture later on today, of course, and the SmackDown preview, myself and the Dadley Boys. Plus, let us know your thoughts and Twitter questions on Twitter at WhatCultureWWE. Well, actually, they can follow both of us. You can follow Andy Murray at
Andy H. Murray. H stands for Howard Finkel. Rest in peace.
What a legend. And you did show us a wonderful image. It hit me a little bit this morning that you sent me, the one of him and Tommy Dreamer that's doing around running Square Circle.
I'll tweet it out after we've done the show. If you wanna check it out, it will make you cry. I'm warning you. It will make you cry.
What a guy. You can follow me at Adam Wilborn. Follow us all at WhatCulture WWE, as I said. Thanks for watching. Thanks, Andy Murray. And we will see you soon.